I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plans, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah, I'm coming. You can feel my power, and I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel. Don't be afraid. Don't do that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. You can feel my when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, folks.
Oh there, what's going on? We got some new stuff going on here. We don't have any new guests, but we got new toys. We got new topics. We got. It's Friday night. I've worked 5 days straight. I haven't done that in 20 years. I usually have. I take split days off because I gotta split the monotony. I don't have 2 days off in a row, so I take Sunday, Thursday. I work the other 5, so I can't take dealing with the idiots for 5 days straight. So I split it up, and I've past 2 weeks I've worked Monday through Friday, and I'm ready to shoot myself. So, cheers, everybody. Nostrovia. Right out of the Deer Hunter. There you go. Well, yeah, so we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. That we're going to be talking about Pluto. We're going to talk about collimation. We're going to talk about some Graxpert stuff, right? And we're going to talk about why the capitals really, really suck. So there we go. So
we don't have to talk about that.
Did you see Ovechkin laughing when what's his name hit? What was it? Hit his what was it? 800th point or something? Somebody was laughing about. He was congratulating, laughing that he made it, but it was like,
oh, right.
It was a cool thing, but it was just it was weird. But anyway, so
yeah.
So I guess really quick, new stuff in the AstroWorld store, right? We got full line of Wander Astro lap panels, rotators, and power boxes. So there you go. Shameless plug. You can come get them. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful thing.
How thick are those rotators?
They go from M54 to
no, they're actual optical thickness.
I could grab one for you. I mean, I can find out. They're really not actually. I got the website right here. So a lot of people are going to be using the M54 because that's the smallest opening that they have.
Okay.
It goes all the way up to M92, which is a monster.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is a monster.
Yeah.
Rotator Pro. What is it? Let's see. Yeah, the Pro's the M92. And the biggest one is only 16 millimeters thick. So,
okay.
The mini, the 54 millimeter, let's see, it's got to be probably like 14 or something, I would think. Only 420 10 millimeters.
Oh wow, that's thin,
dude. It's like this. So pretty cool. All ASCOM, USB printer cable out. 12-volt powered. There you go. You're done. But pretty cool. Lightweight stuff. Not bad. But anyway. So tonight we're looking, and you know what? I thought about this because this is something that that's near and dear to my heart because I actually wrote one of my astronomy papers way back when I was in college about this because it was kind of one of those things that was going on at the time. It was a bigger controversy, I guess, than it is now about the dog planet Pluto. You know, is it a planet? Is it not a planet? Is it a dwarf planet? Is it a Kuiper object? Is it TNO, a trans-Neptunian object? What is it? So I'm curious to hear any thoughts about the chat, any thoughts from you guys, what your guys' outlook is on that, and I got some points to bring up because I did some research on it many years ago in a paper, and I did some things have changed since I wrote my paper in 2006, I think it was. So it was 20 years ago I wrote this paper, but things have changed. But what do you guys think? Is it a planet? Should it be a planet? Should it not be a planet? What do you think?
I think that it resembles a planet, but for the rules they,
I resemble that remark.
It's not because it's not in the same orbital plane as the other planets. It kind of disqualifies it. I consider it a dwarf planet. That's retarded or something out of plane.
It's out of plane.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That there is new rules, Chris. There is, and that's one of my points because I'm going to talk about some of the old rules that actually originally disqualified it to the new rules, which still disqualifies it. But Eric, what do you think?
I grew up with it being a planet, but to everybody's point, it's not the way it is. It's how it's orbiting and everything. Yeah, it's probably DQ'd as an actual planet, a genuine planet. But yeah, I agree. I agree, Chris. Pluto got screwed. But you know what? What are you gonna do?
Pluto doesn't care. Shingles doesn't care.
I think one of the things with it is,
but it is it's a dwarf planet, though, right? But it's got the size. If it's got planet in the name, then it's a planet. It's either a dwarf or it's a regular or it's like a giant mega Earth, that's 3 times or 10 times the size of Earth or whatever. It's a planet. Is a planet. Is a planet. So I don't know.
Isn't Sirius considered a dwarf planet also?
Yes. Sirius, Sedna, all those other guys out there, Xena, the warrior princess, whatever was out there, all these things out there. Somebody else said it. Somebody else said it. It's a Peter Dinklage object. Oh, we were talking about that today. We were like,
talking about that on the phone.
It,
You know, when we were having this conversation, you were like, "This is a Tyrion Lannister."
yep, it drinks and it knows nothing, like Jon Snow.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm telling you, but there's a lot of things, if you think about it, Dwarf Planet wasn't really a thing until 2007-ish. When they were talking about other things, they were calling them TNOs, and what that stood for was trans Neptunian objects, and that included all the stuff in the Kuiper belt and all that kind of stuff, and anything that was big enough to kind of have its own orbit around the sun. But Dave, you're right. We could talk a little bit about the orbital plane or the ecliptic, pretty much, if you think about it, where one of the rules of the planet. Well, let's take it even a step further back. Everyone remembers where the term planet came from, right? Planeta? No,
It's Greek, isn't it?
it's Greek. But what did it mean?
I don't know. Don't spray me with Windex. I don't, spray, or it fixes everything.
Only if you're on Warner Brothers with Pluto.
Yeah, I don't know. So
it meant, anybody know? Anybody? There you go. Somebody said it. Chris said it. It's Greek and it means the wanderer. Wanderer.
The wanderer.
Oh, okay. What? Wanderer. Shameless plug. But yeah, it means wander. And what that really meant in the sky was these lights in the sky just changed their position based on the background stars, and nobody kind of knew what it was, so they just called it Planeta, and it was the Wanderer. So it kind of like moved back and forth, and it got really weird when they started really talking about precision. And you started recognizing these things not only go forward, but they go backwards. They're sort of going back and forth and back and forth. So it's about wanderers. So by that terminology, yes, Pluto is a planet. Now we move forward a couple of thousand years, right? Retrograde motion. I'm sorry, not precision. You're right, Chris. My bad. Retrograde motion. Wow, you're really dark, Dave. You're like the guy from like Silence of the Lambs, and it puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Turn my little spotlight on. How's that?
There you go. Now you're like, I had some fava beans with a nice Chianti. So meant wanderer, and it's all about retrograde motion. Thank you, Chris. You're exactly right. Precision is actually the wobble of the planets going around in a 26,000 year kind of thing, where the pole kind of moves around like a top in the planet. So that's what precision is. So I apologize. That being said, we move forward a couple of centuries, and we, our knowledge of the universe supposedly got a little bit better, right? And so, a couple of people came out with some rules, and one of the rules were the planet needs to go, it needs to orbit the sun. First rule, right? It needs to orbit the sun. Okay. The other rule is that it's got to have mass enough to resemble a spherical object. It needs to be close to a sphere. That's the second one. And the third rule was that it needs to be within plus or minus 10 degrees of the plane of the orbit, the orbital plane. Okay, so that's what it was back pre-2006. It was kind of like that's what the rules were. I think there was one more. Oh, it also had to clear its neighborhood of any other debris or anything, so it wouldn't smack into anything. Okay, so that being said, first things first, Pluto, everything orbits anywhere between Earth being 0. All right, so if Earth is 0 on the ecliptic, right? Everything goes between plus to minus 7 of the plane. Mercury being at the biggest difference at 7 degrees, and I believe it's Mars at 1 degree or something like that. So pretty close to the plane. So things aren't going to smack into each other when they when they go around, right? Because they're all going in the same kind of direction, right? That being said, Pluto orbits at a 17-degree angle of the orbital plane. So you got things going like this, right? And you got Pluto going like this, right? So that's a problem for two reasons. Number one, another one, I forgot the fourth rule. One of the other rules were the planet can never get closer to the sun than any other planet, and Pluto broke that in 1977, where it got closer, and it stayed closer than Neptune to the sun for 20 years. For 20 years. I don't know if you remember, in 1996, finally it got further away from Neptune and became the ninth planet again. It was the eighth planet for 20 years. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem too. And you think about it also, its orbit goes all the way into the Kuiper belt, all the way in, outside everything that we have in our solar system. It goes around in such a way. So that's another thing. Now the one thing that Pluto's got for it, it's not a moon like I believe Eric or Dave said. It's not a moon. It does have an orbiting moon. I think it's Sharon.
Sharon,
And yeah, Sharon, right? Sharon, Sharon, whatever you want to call it. But there's a lot of interesting ways that you could think of Pluto as a planet, depending on what rules you go on. And if you take the modern rules, well, it didn't clear its quote unquote neighborhood because it goes into the Kuiper belt, right? It's got a spherical shape and it orbits the sun, but that third rule kind of boots it now because the IAU changed all the rules again in 2006, 2007 to make this neighborhood rule, even though before Pluto was still violating the rule. I'm sorry, I know that we got some Clyde Tombaugh fans out there that live near where he lived. Sorry, I think it was just like kind of this thing that everybody felt bad for the guy where, they should make a planet for him. And that's why they called it the dog, because it was just a dog.
And who let the dogs out?
Woof.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my opinion about it. I don't know if anybody else has an opinion out in the chat. Feel free to come out. I see Ceres Vesta, a few more planets, Planet X if it's out there. And if you even go a step further, people were looking for planet Vulcan for a while inside the orbit of Mercury. And people searched for a long time. Nobody found anything closer to Mercury. So
yeah, I would think that'd be not likely.
The whole damn thing will burn up.
Yeah, inside of Mercury, and you'd think you'd see it, transverse the sun at some point, but can't. Then it's not.
I mean, Mercury's pretty darn small, and I was able to see that with the 60 millimeter.
Yeah.
So, Planet X, Planet Y, Planet Z. All right. Well, I told you that was going to be a quickie. I didn't think anybody had any thoughts about that. So I thought that was burned up into a puff of smoke, just like Cheech and Chong. Oh, there goes the dog. Hey, Dave, pour me a call of that wine. It's Friday night, fellas and ladies. All right, so I guess that's the end of that topic. Nobody gives a crap about that, apparently. So that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay. I had thought of something really quick, and that was it. So we're done with that. So let's move forward about some astrophotography stuff, right? And it is newbie night, and since I do not much of this, I think Eric's probably the foremost authority on this subject because me and Dave are both pretty much refractor users, with the exception of your RC, I think, right?
Yeah,
yep.
I do have an RC.
Yep. But hey, yeah, we had a good chat waiting. Thanks, Chris. So basically, my topics suck, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. So come up with some topics, damn it. Let's go. It can't just be me thinking about stuff. Come on, sometimes I got writer's
Oh,
block
goodness.
here. So,
Oh, goodness.
so Eric,
Oh,
we're newbies night. Let's talk a
Yep,
little bit
newbies.
about collimation and Schmidt Cassegrains and the challenges that it poses to new people, because a lot of people get scared. When you mention the C word, they get scared.
Yeah, they do. And it's okay. It's not as bad as, pending on, in my opinion, the telescope that you're referring to. It may not be sometimes as bad as some people think. And what exactly, first off, is collimation? And collimation is the process of aligning, and this is when you were dealing with reflective telescopes, such as Newtonians, Ritchie-Chrétiens, Cassegrains, like I have, where you every once in a while have to realign your mirrors. Sometimes with the primary and the secondary, they have to be realigned or what have you. But with like a Schmidt Cassegrain, it's only the secondary that has to be, adjusted compared to the primary. And I was actually looking for a couple of examples here of a few things. So what I would use and what I have used in the past to align my telescope. So first off, let's grab some of the hardware here.
While Eric's getting that, everybody vote. You got 36 minutes to vote. Vote.
Vote for what?
Picture of the week.
Oh, we didn't tell you anybody.
There is no voting. That's
There is
right. Because you
no
all
voting.
suck and you didn't put in any pictures.
Nobody
Oh
put
my
any pictures in?
God.
One.
Yeah, one.
One.
One person. One person. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
was
that
it.
is sad. That twice in a month.
Well, I mean, what you gonna do? I appreciate, hey, not everybody every time can.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? That's fine.
I understand. And I get that, but it's sometimes it's a little disappointing, but what are you gonna do? But congratulations to to our winner, Greg Meyer. Thank you for entering in, and by default, since we only have
You win.
Oh,
You win.
it was one of Greg Meyer's pictures. No wonder nobody put anything in.
Damn, I'll wait till Dan puts a picture in because I know I'm gonna win over that crap.
Like, oh, it's Greg Meyer's picture. Never mind.
So yeah, it's Greg. So all right, we'll forget it. We're not doing it. We're gonna lose anyway. But it's okay. I mean, I'm just sorry. I know I'm stalling here.
That's okay. I'll make you stall. So
this was kind of on the fly.
There you go.
Type of deal. So let me gather all this information up.
I got it, Eric. I got it.
What's that? Oh, you did.
It came in. It came in today. And nice. Leon. This is Leon.
Wow.
This is Leon. And Leon's getting larger. but yeah, so this is my solar eclipse lens. This is what this is going to be. So this is a nice 100 to 400, and if Newman hooks me up with that lovely backyard EOS script, that's what this is going to be going on. So this, you know what, the lens is probably heavier than the camera. I mean, it's fairly heavy. It's a good 3 pounds, the lens, but I'm looking.
Yeah, well, I would think so. I mean, all the glass is probably in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it came.
Good. All right, so let me just share my screen here
Yep.
on a couple of things. I'm gonna minimize a couple of things and get a few things out of the way here. And we're going to talk about this because reason I thought about this is one, the time of the year it is, right? We are now, in full swing officially in spring. And when we talk about spring in the Northern Hemisphere, what do we usually talk about? Galaxy season. And when we're talking about galaxy season, rabbit season, duck season. And when we're talking about galaxy season, we're talking about faint, distant objects, right? And many times, because they're so distant, we're talking hundreds of thousands, sometimes, and of course, millions, some in some cases, millions of light years away. And what we need are sometimes telescopes that have long focal lengths. Yep. And those telescopes are usually some of your reflectors, like the Ritchie-Chrétiens, like the Schmidt-Cassegrains, because things that are over maybe like 1,200 millimeters of focal length, because you want to get that that reach out there to pull in these faint, distant galaxies. And with Schmidt-Cassegrains in particular, just like Ritchie-Chrétiens or these reflectors, you want light buckets. You want to gather up as much light as you possibly can.
Yep.
Right? And get that data onto your chip. So and some of the most reasonably priced and more common, effective, and not as far as also payload, as far as weight that I know of, are the Schmidt-Cassegrains until maybe the 8s and the 9s, until you get maybe even the 11s. But when you get to a 14, forget about it. Yep. you're gonna need a forklift.
Yep.
or several people to get that sucker onto your mount.
And once it's on there, you're gonna leave it there.
You're going to leave it there. So I'm going to share, and I know I've talked about this in the past, but it's always good to remind people, especially when it comes to this time of year, collimation and checking the alignment of, especially in my case, these mirrors. And there's a couple tools that you can use. And I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And let's see. So here's one. Now, this is when this was my former 8SE. And as you can see here, a lot of times when you purchase Schmidt-Cassegrains, first off, let me back up here. To collimate a Schmidt-Cassegrain, you really only need to manipulate and work with 3 screws. Here, these 3 screws just on your secondary mirror. Now, most of it in Celestron and Meade, when they ship these out brand new, these are normal Phillips head screws. And while you can use those, of course, to collimate and align your mirror to your primary, you take the risk of damaging your corrector plate here, right here. You risk, scratching it, things like that. So they have released items such as what we have here, which are called Bob's knobs, where you can install these, and Dan has them here. He sells them. So another shameless plug. Where you can use these in replacement of those, Phillips head screws. And this will make your life quite a bit easier. I will admit this. It will make your life a lot easier when it comes to collimation. And helping you realign that, and realigning your secondary. Now, another thing for me personally, one of the problems that I've had with Bob's knobs and this is just me. I'm not speaking for AstroWorld telescopes or anybody else. This is just me. I would tend to lose collimation a bit more often than I thought was necessary. I mean, I would have to, whenever I put my Schmidt-Cassegrain back onto my mount, I would always have to end up recollimating. And it got a little frustrating, especially, when you're out there in the winter and you're loosening and tightening, because also with collimation, the process of collimation is loosening or tightening one screw at a time, one of these 3 screws, taking a look at the star that you are looking at, that you are using. You want to use a bright star, and you want to see that you have a very nice donut as far as your defocused star. Your star does have to be defocused many times when you're doing collimation like this. So you have these here, and you want to basically get that center donut, which is basically the correct, the secondary here, the secondary mirror here. You want to get that centered. You want to get that centered into that defocused star, and so you would loosen or tighten one of these 3 screws, and then check your alignment and tighten. Then if you ever tighten or loosen one, you have to do the opposite to the other 2. So if I'm tightening this top one here, I have to slightly loosen these 2 lower ones, and other way around. If I loosen this one, I have to tighten these 2. And the goal is to get your secondary mirror, that center donut, you're looking at that defocused star, in the dead center. All right. And then what you'll then do is, once it looks like you've got it centered there, what I would do is that I would start bringing it back into focus, getting that star, more into focus. It's getting smaller. And I would, every once in a while, then I would still check the collimation to make sure that center donut, now it's starting to become a smaller dot, is still centered. All right. And slowly do that until, I get my, the star into focus. And then I would use a batten off mask or focusing mask to get it into final focus as best I can. So this is one option you can use, are the Bob's knobs.
Can I show a pic real quick so we could give a visual real quick?
Yeah.
Just to give people a visual real quick.
Yes, thank you.
Top one right here is a severely uncollimated scope right here.
Yep.
And this shows some really darn good, rings here. I mean, I've had multiple Schmidts and I've never seen anything this defined. But this is how it looks. So you got that donut right in the middle where you don't have a fat end and a skinny end and things don't look like teardrops. That's how you want your collimation to end up when the scar. You got to remember, I think somebody said it, rinse, recenter, repeat, or whatever,
Exactly. Chris is saying that exactly.
You got to make sure, if you make a change, you got to get that star back in the center of your image, because if you just continue to do it and it's all the way to the left or to the right, you're not doing yourself any good. You got to make sure that the center of the optical image is the stars in the middle, so that everything's aligned and going straight.
Right. Now, one thing that I have done was when I would collimate, when I was using my ASI Air, and I believe you can even use within Sharp Cap, I would create the crosshairs.
Yep.
Right. And within the ASI Air, and I would fill the defocused star into because it's all, you have the circles, it's all, you have the cylindrical crosshairs and everything. I would get that star to fill out that space, and then I would use that to help me with getting my secondary mirror, getting that secondary when I'm collimating, getting it into the center of that target. And now I believe SharpCap has something very similar when you're using crosshairs and stuff. So they are really, really, really helpful. And that's something that's been a tool that I have used, and I'll get back to that in just a second as well. We're talking about crosshairs. Now, another tool that I have used as far as my collimation screws, because as I mentioned, my collimation screws, the Bob's knobs, like I said, they would loosen. It got a little frustrating. Then I went to this using wing nuts. Now, one thing you can do is definitely, if you're curious about making sure you have the right size screws, you can refer to Celestron's website, Mead's website, your manufacturer's website to make sure you are purchasing or going to get the right size length of screw for your particular telescope if you are going to attempt something like this. Now, here I'm using the stainless steel wing nuts in place of the Bob's knobs, and the reason I did those is because this way I was able to still keep my gloves on when I was outside and doing collimation, and I could still loosen, tighten, or do whatever I needed to do to collimate my telescope. Now, another tool that is out there, and we will switch over to this real quick.
Try that.
It's one of my favorites. Now, I will stop sharing here real quick as far as the screen.
I don't know, man. That looks a little uncollimated there. I don't know. I think I saw some.
Yeah. Quiet use. So is a Tribatanoff mask, and this is the Tribatanoff mask that I have for my 8-inch telescopes. And what this does is it creates these guys. It creates multiple diffraction spikes on a focused, and this is a focused star. And the goal of collimating using a Tribatanoff mask is, as you can see, you have these center spikes because you have the 3 spikes, and then you have the one in the middle for each side, right? You want to have them dead center between those 2 other diffraction spikes, the ones that are going off at an angle. You want to make sure everything is totally lined up, perfectly centered. And so like this, it's pretty damn well, collimated.
That one's good,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so again, this was me using my ASI Air and using the Tribatanoff mask to do this. And it's the same process. Now, there's one question that I had when I was doing a video on using the Tribatanoff mask with with my Schmidt is, how do you know which diffraction spike is which? The way you basically understand and which diffraction spike is which is I would use a piece of cardboard, or you have cardstock, anything like that, and you can cover two of the screws. So you would cover one side of the screw, so you're only leaving one, right? Let me go back here to the preview to my sharing here. So you would take your cardboard, cardstock, what have you. You would cover one side of your telescope, only leaving one screw showing. Now, what that would do is when you go back to your Tribatanoff mask, you're looking at everything, it would basically leave one set of these spikes. So that way, you know, okay, this is the screw I'm working with. If this one's out of alignment, this is the one I can start working with. And then I can either push, pull, re-get everything back in line, because even as Dan said, when you are manipulating these screws and moving these screws around, doing the push pull, you are moving your star out of focus. You're moving it out of the way, and so you have to use your mount and slightly move it back so you can get it back in line, so you can see what you're doing. And then I would then check. I would tighten or loosen those other two screws, and then I would go to the other spikes, right? Again, covering up that one I just worked on, as well as another one, and do the same thing, and just continue to do that until all 6 diffraction spikes, center diffraction spikes, are like this. And the more you utilize tools like a Tribatanoff mask, or if you're just doing it off of if you don't have one of these and you're just using a distant defocused star, which is just as fine, but this is a much better tool, and I think it gives you a bit more accurate as far as within your collimation, and they're not that expensive. I mean, if you have a 3D printer, you can look up plans and 3D print one of these yourself. Or you can spend less than $20 and order one. So you have this, and then so you have this tool here that can help you get into collimation with an actually focused star, which is one thing that's kind of nice versus having the defocused star, is that you are using already a focused star. It's already in, and the Tribatanoff does double duty. It does collimation as well as making sure your star is in focus. Now, if I go here to another photo here, those are the 3 notes. Okay, so now I'll stop sharing there. So that's one. So these are a couple of examples of what you can use. What I've been using recently is this guy, and I will take this out here. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll show you that this goes on the screen.
OCal.
This is the OCal collimator. This is a camera, a very small camera that you will put onto the back of your telescope, or if it's just made Cassegrain, or if you're using a Newtonian, wherever you place your camera, this is where that would go. And you're using software, and one cool thing about the OCal is that you can do it in the daytime. You can do it in your house. You can align and do everything there. I thought I may have had a picture of or an example of that I can share, and if I can find it quickly, I'll share it with you guys. But this has definitely been a great help. It is something to get used to, as far as here we are. I'll bring this up here. This is what I want. So I'll bring that over and maximize this, and then I'll share my screen again. So sharing. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah. But
using the OCal, and I understand this is probably some bad video here coming back through.
Yeah, that's okay.
Here is your primary mirror. All right. There is and here's your baffle around here. Here's the camera, all right there, and here's the other interior of your respective telescope. And you would use a code that they would give you, and it comes on a spreadsheet because they're all calibrated, or slightly calibrated differently. But once you get that information, and once after you buy your OCal and you get this started, I'm using my computer here, you would create these circles. I have the circle here, what circle is another circle here, and this crosshair is basically representing a star. And then I would then indoors utilize my collimation screws to get everything in line, into these circles here, and get the crosshair set up, make sure everything is all lined up. And when that's done, you're collimated. And this usually takes me, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. Maybe, just a few minutes just to get everything set up. And then it's a few minutes to get the software rolling and get everything lined up. But the great thing about this is that you do it indoors. And it's relatively, these are, in the grand scheme of things, these are relatively inexpensive. I know they've come out with an OCal version 3. This is a version 2 that I have. They're around, I don't know, 250, 300 or something like that. The version 2 may be a little less. I haven't gotten a version 3 or even tested a version 3, but for what I'm using, this seems to work out for me very well. And this is what I've been using lately, is the OCal. And so far, so good. It's been very successful for me. And using the current screws, collimation screws that I'm using right now, everything is working out just fine. But this is one of the things that all new Cassegrain and reflector telescope owners are going to have to learn to do, is collimation. And it's going to be frustrating for a little while, but the more you work at it, the better you will get, and the faster everything you'll get, in doing this process. And you really want to have your mirrors lined up, because you start taking images and you are out of collimation, you're going to start seeing stars at very odd shapes. Some look like arrowheads, stuff like that. And you are then wasting all of your precious time in your night sky, where you want to be going after these distant galaxies with these long focal length telescopes, and you're going to go back to doing it. Now, one thing, as I said, with the OCal, I can do it indoors. If now we are in a full moon session, this is a great time to go ahead and collimate. If you, so that way you're not missing out on the darker nights and stuff like that. But this is one thing I definitely wanted to share with everybody and remind everybody about when it comes to this time of year. And I agree with Dennis 1,000%. Use, if you don't have the OCal and you are using a Tribatanoff mask, or if you're using a just a distant, defocused star, however way you're using, it's patient. This is not going to be something that you're going to get like immediately. It's going to take time, and you're going to get frustrated. I know when I first started out with this, it used to drive me insane when I had to collimate. But
now add aligning your focuser and your primary, like on an RC.
Yeah.
Now with RC, I mean, you can speak to this, Dave. You're dealing with 3 different components. You're dealing with the secondary, the primary, and the focuser, which is one of the reasons why I rethought going after an RC. But because RCs are awesome, they're great scopes. But it was just for me. But
it'll test your patience for sure. But you have to just stick with it. And there's multiple different tools that you have to use in the course of doing it. It's tough.
Yeah, it
for me, when I try to do mine, when I try to do mine, it makes it even harder because I use my night crawler on it.
Yeah.
So you're putting the night crawler on it, and now you have very little space for those primary adjustment screws to get in there and try and adjust them. And then not only that, it's just it's not easy to do.
So let me go back to the OCal for a second, because I've used the OCal and I've had, and maybe it's just not me being as proficient as I am with just a star test, because I find that, a star test to me and my eye or the camera, is a lot easier to me than even doing it during the daytime, because sometimes I've seen with the OCal, that even after doing it with the OCal, it still requires a little bit of tweaking. Do you find that? Do you not find that? I mean,
I
depending on the
honestly,
day, you know.
I'll be honest with you. There have been moments where I have had to do a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah.
And it's not, and then I did get frustrated with the OCal initially. But again, it's about patience, and then you're working at it and you figuring out the right way to do it and the right process. And it took me a little bit of time to figure it out, like a lot of other things. But when I got it, and now I'll be honest, it's fine. Really,
Yeah.
it's really no problem. But I will admit, yes, when I first got started with it, it was a little frustrating for me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I sat there and I tried to do certain things with it, and I did everything from like like a 7 inch all the way up to a 14 inch, and and every single time I'm watching, and to be dead honest with you, the instruction manual, horrible. It's dreadful.
It is
It's like
horrible.
it
It's
is.
absolutely horrible.
I don't know. I don't even know how to write, and I could have wrote a better manual than that. But it was pretty bad. Just trying to deconstruct the instructions to kind of figure out what's going on with it. But
And then let's be weird, and let's be honest. It's also because of maybe part of the language barrier.
definitely, without a doubt. But I mean,
That
then use.
even then,
But you use more pictures then if you have to. I mean, do
yes.
something that, one, show a picture, two, show a picture, three, show a picture. I mean, you don't have to
This
do
is
that.
what you not
Yeah.
want. This is what you do want. This is what you don't want. This is what you do want.
All you gotta do is put an arrow and say move and point it towards the slider. So it's really not. I think that it makes it a little bit more difficult than and even a video with no words behind it and typing in the background. I mean, you could do that, would be even
Now,
better.
to be fair, they do have videos.
I've seen them. They're dreadful.
Yeah, most of the videos I've seen is guys using them on RCs.
But they're not that great.
No, the video, yeah, they are on RCs. Yeah, they are on RCs, and which is fine, because all I was really looking for was how to kind of manipulate the software to get what I need, because in theory it's mostly the same. Put this circle around this, put this circle around that, and then you get the crosshairs, and they should be in the middle, and then you're good to go and you're finished. So that's really the high and the low. It's nowhere near as close to as easy as I just said it was, but it's definitely one of those things, like Eric said, is that just like with anything else, you're not born knowing how to play a guitar. It's something that you work at, and through practice and repetition you get better and better at it. So and now Eric's been using it for what, you bought it from Camera Concepts, so that was like 3 years ago. That you bought it, and he's been using it for 3 years, so he's pretty proficient at it, so he trusts it more now. So whereas I've used it 5 times probably, and I still went outside and I didn't trust it, and thank God I didn't, because I was so inefficient at using it that I looked at it just to verify, and sure enough it wasn't good, and now you had to tweak it a little bit. So once you know the tweaking and all that kind of what you did wrong the first time, you learn for the next time, and the next and the next and the next, and hopefully that those errors get a lot less.
Now, one thing I did start, I didn't show a picture of this. I did, even now, replace those wing nuts that I showed that was on my 8SC. I no longer have the 8SC, but on my Edge, I actually used the socket screws, stainless steel socket screws, and I bought a bunch of them and just put those in there. And I will be honest, that has held collimation now like nobody's business. Using those coarse threaded socket screws, the right length that they needed to be. And I believe for the 8-inch, I want to say they were 12 millimeter socket screws. And let's see here. Yes, 12 millimeter. Sorry, M5 12 millimeter. It's been holding its collimation. I have not needed to even use the OCal or anything in the past. I'll be honest, almost a year. It's just held with using those particular screws. I don't know if I got lucky or whatever, but it's been locked in, and I've been kicking out images recently. I'm sure a lot of you've seen some of my recent Galaxy images and of the Medusa.
Yep.
It's locked, so it's set. But definitely one thing you always want to do when it comes to this time of year, and if you are going to, and you have these telescopes and you're going after these galaxies, make sure that your gear is working properly. And one of those things you do have to do as part of it is check the collimation of your reflectors and make sure you're good to go before you get started, or else you're going to have a long galaxy season, and it's not going to be a fun one.
Nope. Well, in all fairness, galaxy season is relatively short across the entire calendar.
Exactly.
It's what, 2 months? I mean, so
basically you got March, April,
maybe a little of May, so you got what, 10 weeks, I mean, and then all of a sudden you got all of the summer, nebula coming out at that point, so it's and just somebody hit on it, just a reminder, and a reminder to all of us as well. April 3rd is going to be our first 8 p.m. Wednesday show. So all shows starting April 3rd will be 8 p.m. Wednesday and Friday night will be 8 p.m. No more 9 p.m. shows. Everything starts. And somebody else said maybe because we are getting bigger, we should start using universal time. So I looked it up. So universal time, it's midnight, 12 o'clock universal time. So as of right now, once we get out of daylight savings time, it will be 12 o'clock. It'll be 1 o'clock universal time. So just wanted to throw that reminder. UTC equal British time. All right. Well.
Yes.
Greenwich time.
Yeah, Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time, like V.
Yes. Yes. So there is that as far as collimation and galaxy season and all that fun stuff. And speaking of galaxy season, and we are in the middle of galaxies. We are not in the middle, but we're getting really
we're getting
into
there. Another week. Yeah.
Yeah, we are really into it. There are some really great targets that are out there. I've got M94 that I just recently finished. You have the Virgo supercluster.
Yep.
Where if you're doing wide field, you can get Markarian's chain. And you can get lots and lots of galaxies that way.
Oh yeah.
You have the Leo triplet. You have Hickson 44.
Yep.
You have several ARP galaxies that are out there. There's just so many, because now that the Milky Way, that arm that usually we are able to see all of the nebula within the Milky Way. Now this moved, maybe because of our Earth rotation, everything. It's out of our way, and now we have now have this huge window to the rest
Into
of
interstellar
cosmos.
space.
Yep.
Yes, to our little slice of the cosmos, and you can start seeing a whole bunch of our neighbors in our galactic neighborhood. So this is that time to do it. So if you are into galaxies and really into this this time of year, now is the time to get out there and just enjoy yourself, because to Dan's point, it doesn't last very long.
Nope. Nope. It does not. It does not.
So,
I've been
Eric,
doing
are you
him
talking
106.
about shoulder screws of what I'm using now, or the little wing nut screws?
No, it's a wing nut screw. It's not a shoulder screw.
Yeah, those little twist wing nut screws that I was using. Yep.
Intergalactic.
Yeah. So one of the things, like I said, in with me using the OCal, and like you were saying, Dan, I've used it now for several years. I've gotten it locked down that if I did need to collimate, I would just bring it indoors, do everything here indoors. So I don't need those wing nuts, or I'm not really doing anything outdoors. And I would then I can get it right back out onto the mount, and I'm ready to roll again.
Yep. Man, I'm just hoping I could get some imaging done this summer and spring and stuff like that. I got my beach permit ready to go. I've had it for a couple of months. So New York State parks are open to me. So I could be
You
in a
need a beach permit.
to be on state land on open past
Hey,
past
Charlie.
5 p.m. past sunset. Yeah, you need a beach permit.
Interesting.
Tom, I totally agree with you. He was saying, he made this comment, it's pretty cool to image an object that the light left before the dinosaurs bit the dust. You ain't kidding.
Oh yeah.
I explained this to my daughter and my wife just recently, because Cadence has started getting a little bit more of an interest now in doing something a hobby, and I encouraged her to say, hey, just hang out with your old man, because she said she wants to hang out with her old man, do something with me, and I'm loving it. And I said, hey, would you like to learn about the night sky? So I just actually installed Stellarium on our upstairs computer, our little kitchen computer, so she can learn the basics. And the basics for me are, number one is to learn and understand the night sky and know what's around us. Right. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how, if she progresses with this, if she catches on, it'll be a lot of fun for, father and daughter to hang out.
I tried to do that with my niece, and who I miss so much. I just haven't seen her in 15 years. But her name is Haley Starr, and her name is Haley Starr. So for her 15th birthday, I bought her a nice 6-inch a 6SE. I bought her for her 15th birthday, and we used it a handful of times, and I don't know if she used it ever since then, but I'm sure she still has it 20 years later, I think. But I mean, I'm sure she still has it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I actually was telling you, Dan, that I got, because I'm trying to get ready for the eclipse, and I actually broke out one of my old telescopes that I've had, one of the original telescopes that I had when I wanted to get back into astronomy, which was my Celestron 102 Mac, the AstroPhi.
Yep. Sure.
So I'm going to actually use its mount to use with my DSLR and the ASI Air, and I'll take that with me to Indiana and set up the ASI Air to do all that. So
yeah, I'm taking this guy, and I'm gonna say thank you in the beginning for Norman for sending me the Backyard EO script, which he's gonna send me to run this guy for the eclipse, and hopefully I can enjoy it and chill out and whatever. Just as a side note, for those of you that missed, the registration for Cherry Springs is now closed and has been closed for a while. It opened on the 18th at 4 p.m. and it was sold out on the 18th by 8 p.m.
That's
Really
insane.
fast. So
Yeah.
I might have some tickets available. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to see. But it depends on who I promised to already and who actually is gonna go. So I mean, I do have some. I did buy a couple of tickets, but we'll see. The camera is a 6D Mark II, so that's it.
Yeah, and I'll use my 6D when I work on mine.
Yeah.
Kind
Same
of a
camera,
bummer
just a different noise level. That's it.
yeah, basically. But it's been, snowing up this way. So we ended up
really?
getting like 4. Yeah, we got caught with a late winter storm. So it's we got 4 inches, and I was really hoping this weekend to get out and practice with this new setup that I'm going to use. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen because the clouds are going to be here as well. So
We've had some clear nights, but it's been windy.
Yeah, it's been really windy here
We've
too.
had clear, but it's been like 20-mile-an-hour winds with gusts in the 30s.
Yeah, oh, it's been bad in New
great.
York too. Same thing.
So last night was calm. I guess I got 9 hours in last night, more on 106. So
Okay.
See how that goes with the new filters.
I got about 6 hours. Oh, those are the Enlias, right?
Yeah. Those are them.
I love you, man. So yeah,
one thing is that because Dave's making me think about it. There's one Galaxy Target that I want to image that I have not yet, and that's the hockey stick.
Oh yeah, the whale and the hockey stick.
Yep. Yeah, the whale, and the whale's right there too.
The whale and the hockey stick.
Yep.
So
you're not allowed to get the whale on a hockey stick. You don't like hockey. You don't want to have anything to do with hockey. You don't want to.
Whatever. You know what?
You can't get
hockey. I want to do it. You know what? I just want to do it just to spite you.
Oh, I got a hockey stick. I'm fine. I'm good. I got my whale and hockey stick. I just don't show my stuff.
I'm gonna do the hockey stick and superimpose this logo over it.
Oh. Yeah, so like the New York Isles, same thing with the hockey stick. We'll just take the hockey stick and put the.
So I was like, is it M109 the vacuum cleaner? Is that the one they call the vacuum cleaner? I always thought that was a cool one too.
The vacuum
it's got
cleaner.
That real thick bar through it. I think it's M109.
Is it 109?
Gideon's asking you after the Washington Capitals, what team would you support? The Ducks?
The Ducks? Why the Ducks? How do you go from Washington to what? Anaheim?
I don't know. He's just messing with that thing. But no. Have you had a chance to?
Yeah, it is. M109 vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. Is it the vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. M109. Oh, the first thing I get is the M109 howitzer.
That's what I got too. You have to put Galaxy there, or type in Messier.
Why is it the vacuum cleaner? Doesn't look like a vacuum cleaner.
Well,
Maybe it looked like a vacuum cleaner in 1781 when
It's got that thick bar in the middle of it, though. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
So
I always love the story about.
I need more focal length to get that one. I can't get that one.
Need more cowbell.
Even my RC it's still really small.
What, for the owl?
No, the owl, man. I can get that.
Oh, I thought you said the owl. I'm sorry.
No, M109.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Gideon, any Chicago hockey team? For me, of course, there's the Chicago Blackhawks, but there's my local farm team, which is a farm team for the Chicago Blackhawks, which is the Rockford Ice Hogs.
No.
We go there, and my kids and I, we've gone there several times for school events and stuff like that. It's right here in the next town over, and really inexpensive to go there. And spend the day, spend an evening there versus going to, you know, an NHL game where you're, I'm probably going to kick out a heck of a lot more money.
Yep.
But,
Oh yeah,
and it's close
and those
by.
minor league games are fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
they
are.
are. They're a lot of.
Because, you know.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of Bridgeport Sound Tigers games. Yeah. Although I gotta say, you know, minor league baseball games are the most dreadful things I've ever been to. I'm sorry. They're the boring.
You gotta go to the Savannah Banana games.
I have no. I went to not Savannah Banana, the Savannah Sand Gnats.
Oh, the
The Sand Gnats. That's what they were called. The Savannah Sand Gnats. Because if you've ever been in Georgia, you know what I'm talking about with the sand gnats. These things just are like they come in waves and they just eat the crap out of you. And they
gotta
will
run in the water.
Woo, man! They all of a sudden your entire legs are filled up with a whole swarm of gnats.
So other things as far as AP and astrophotography, a couple of things. I've been working on for those who know and don't know, I've been working on my website, astrowitheric.com, and it's getting there. It's just a lot of image and data entry right now. So, but I don't know how many of you guys have seen some of my more recent images, especially when we talk about galaxy season. So I wanted to share these real quick. Is this there real quick? So, and if anybody's interested, I haven't set up any comments or anything like that. I will, and you know, people at some point when I get the recapture going and all the other security stuff, then everybody can sign in, and I'll get my blog going and all that stuff. But it's astrowitheric.com, and I'm gonna go in here to the images and my last one. So these was the last, you know, the latest one. So, and this is the one that I thought was really cool. M94, the croc's eye, or is it the croc's eye or the cat's eye?
Croc.
Which one?
Croc's eye.
Croc.
I mean, because some people call it the cat's
No,
cat's eye.
there's a different cat's eye. There is a cat's eye, but it's something else.
Yeah.
But that's the cat's eye nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so there's this one here, and I like there's even this faint halo.
Yeah, it barely comes across.
You know, there is a faint halo that you can see that comes from this guy, which I thought was really, really cool. And so this one I was quite pleased with. And that, you know, one cool thing about astrophotography, I bet if I went ahead and I redid this and I processed this from, you know, started, you know, back into Pix Insight and I processed this again, it would come out totally different.
Yep.
It's almost like each one is like almost like a snowflake, right? They're always different. And if we go back here to the other one I was working on was that I finished EC2 2903. And this one was in Leo. Yeah, in Leo. So a little bit of astrophotography treats for everybody, you know. So it's coming along, and at one point, once I get the comments in the blog and all that other stuff going, then I'll start letting people in, and they can register and all that other stuff. Oh, you look like you're upset. Like what? The Capitals losing?
They are. They just missed a goal. They should have had it.
Story of my life.
Yep, there it is. So if anybody's interested, you know, you can feel free to go check out the work in progress right now at astrowitheric.com. And, you know, and if you have any comments, you know, once I get everything up, there will be a comment section and all that other stuff as well. So. Nice. And the other thing I know I wanted to talk about was Pix Insight. You know, a little bit of
the new update.
The new updates.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I got to do that.
Yeah. So if I bring up Pix Insight here, I'll bring it up.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and share my screen here. And I was looking at because for those, I'm sure everybody knows by now when it comes to Pix Insight, there's a new update. And as part of that update, they have released a gradient correction tool to address gradient, the gradients that you have. And here I did a really quick processing of or integration of M81. These are very, very small. Something just that does not look good at all as far as on the screen, but here I was going to show a little bit of like a comparison between, we could read these, let's move these down here.
Oh, like Graxpert and the new gradient.
Yeah, between Graxpert and the other one. And one thing that I also noticed, and I'm going to share that as well. So I normally do the gradient correction pretty soon after I actually do the channel combination. So this is, I don't know how I see how it's coming across on, online here, and that is not how it looks like on my screen here, Gideon. So I'm just letting you know that right now.
Yeah, it looks pretty scary. I see a lot of.
It looked better when you weren't zoomed in. When you were just on your little screen, it looked better. But yeah, it's making some weird.
So it's making some really weird stuff. But something that I was coming across was I would normally use everything by default. I would check the automatic convergence, and let's go ahead and I will run that here. Let's see what happens. And you get this error. It would pop up with this error: insufficient data to sample gradient channel 0.
I was getting that for my SPCC tonight.
Yeah. So what you need to do is uncheck structure protection. And let's try it again. And then there it goes. Now, this is really, really weird.
I don't know about that, man. It looks like you lost a lot.
Yeah. But here's the crazy thing, and this is where I'm going back and forth with, do I like the gradient correction? Do I like Graxpert? Now, if I go to Graxpert and it's under
scripts,
it's under script, toolbox, and Graxpert, and I use subtraction and everything. And I'm actually going to choose the first one here and check it. Let's see. It's going to be this one here. Let's see how this one does.
Much better.
Much better.
Much better, right?
10 times better.
Yeah. So
the one on the right has the same exact process as done before as the one on the left, except one's
it's simply just a clone.
So basically, that's like the difference between a nice fried shrimp and some escargot. I mean, I'm not a fan of escargot, so I mean,
So now, Eric, the only question I have for you is, obviously that image, because there's not a ton of stars in that image. What would happen if you ran DBE on it?
That's a good. Well, let's take a look.
And how good would that look?
How would that look?
You wouldn't have to put a ton of samples in that image for DBE.
Right. Let's take it back. So I've gone back, and let's go to DBE. So we'll go processes, all processes, dynamic background extraction.
I find myself doing all three and seeing which one's the best.
Yeah. So let's take a look. See here. I have my parameters. Sample generation.
Click on your image.
Why isn't it?
Click on your image.
Yeah, that's what. There we go.
There
Sorry. Duh.
Yep.
And generate.
Oh man, those
this is
samples are small.
You got to increase
Yeah,
your
those
tolerance.
are small. Yeah, I got to increase it. So, what do you think? Maybe 10?
30.
Wow, I
Yeah,
was going to say 50.
All right,
probably
fine.
say
Let's go that way.
30.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
better.
That's better. That's better.
But you also need to increase your tolerance up to, and your, so,
Okay, so
You know,
let's just. You know what? I'm going to close this out.
your tolerance is at like 0.5. You could put that at like probably 1.5.
1.5? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's close it out here. Let's just cancel this, yes. And let's reopen it because that was just a lot there. And all processes, dynamic. Click on this guy.
Click in the middle of it.
There we go. Thanks.
There you go.
And let's go 25. And samples per row.
4.
5. Okay, let's go 4. And tolerance, we're going to go 1.5. Okay, let's generate. All right, that's much better. Let's get this out of the way.
Just move anything
here.
off the galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just taking them off the galaxy. Let's move them off of there. And that one's fine. Gonna get rid of that one. Just move them off. That's all really I'm doing here. Because, yeah, you brought up a really good question. And my correction, I do subtraction. And I will replace the target image.
Yeah.
Do we normalize or no?
No, don't worry about
No,
that.
I don't think so. And let's go. Let's execute.
Yeah,
See what happens.
you're right, Ernie. That's
What's
a color image, right?
It is.
You should really do the background neutralization first on that. He's right.
Oh, you don't think he didn't do that first?
Well,
Oh,
So now kill your stretch and re-stretch it.
in order to get a proper sample rate, you should really do a backyard.
Oh, look at that. See, that looks really good, Eric.
Yeah, and if you did a neutralization, it'd probably look even better.
yeah. So, let's take a look at that then. Let's cancel.
Because you didn't do that on those, right? You didn't do that on those at all, right?
No.
Yeah.
You're gonna cancel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Cancel it.
All right. So let's go to process. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna back it up here.
What the hell?
Re-cancel. There you go. Yeah.
And let's go to background neutralization.
Yeah. Now take a background sample.
Yep. And I'm gonna take a background sample.
A white light and a regular. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
I just use target image for.
Yep. You could do that.
That's not the preview.
Nope.
No, for that's your white point.
Yep.
So you want to use that top box. You want target image.
Yep.
Oh,
drop that down. Put target image.
where's the target?
It's image 12 clone. That's it.
There's 13 clone.
That's fine.
Okay.
Just reset the tool. There you go. Yeah.
No, you're still on preview 1.
Okay. Sorry.
There you go. You're fine.
Okay. So now go down and click. Yeah. There you go. Region of interest. Click on that box. Region of interest. And then hit
from
that.
preview.
There you go.
Now you use a preview. There you go. Boom. Now run it.
Now drop it.
Okay. And close it out and re-stretch.
Okay.
What the hell?
I don't know. That's weird. This is not a very good demo.
Nope. 0.
This is a really crappy demo.
This is what not to do. This is what we all do, actually.
This is what not to do. Exactly. It's like, what the?
Maybe they are linked. Yep, maybe they are linked. So go back into your STF. Did you run? Are you running this again? You're not running it again, right?
No.
Go back into STF, unlink the channels, and then stretch it. Yeah, you're linked.
Yeah,
now re-stretch it.
No, they were unlinked. They were unlinked.
They were unlinked.
All right.
They were unlinked.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Kitty's like, this is a very bad demo.
This is a very, very bad demo, Eric. No kidding.
You know what? Let's go to picture of the week, and let's say, yeah.
But I'll tell you. Long story short, for me, at least for right now,
Rackspert works better.
I'm still sticking with Rackspert.
There you
actually,
go.
I tend to think your DBE image probably looked better.
Yeah, it kind of did. It gave you a little bit better, a truer color to it, I thought.
Yeah, it was, it's just, it's just weird. I don't know. So
just use the German program.
Yeah.
That we will, Gideon. That we will.
I'm just curious.
Ernie said you have to be linked, not unlinked. Linked.
What's this?
Hit it.
Close this.
There we
That's
go.
better.
That's better.
That's better.
That's really good.
That looks much better than.
I still think Graxpert looks better.
But but Graxpert still.
I see a lot more detail in Graxpert than I do.
Yeah, than I do in here.
Yep.
So again, this is why I'm going to stick with, at least for me, my opinion, I'm going to be sticking with Graxpert, at least for a while.
Sticking with
and I don't know what.
And that being said. Let's end this demo.
Yeah, let's end this demo, please. Good God.
Let's talk about Greg's great.
Leave that alone.
Hey, listen, I've had some really bad demos. I'd probably I'm sure I beat Eric somewhere with the bad demos, but hey, listen, but in all fairness, sometimes things don't work out, especially when you're on live. It just doesn't work out. So and sometimes we get a little stage fright, hitting the wrong button. And Eric, you got a big hole in your head for something. I don't know what's good.
What the heck?
That's your damn green screen and your crappy lighting that you got.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
All right.
You got too much light. You know what you need? You need to get to the powder room. Get a little.
I know, right? Wake up. Okay, let's talk about Eric's Christmas tree.
Oh, it's coming. Is it still there?
It's still there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's freaking March, man.
Heck yeah, it's still there.
That shit ain't never moving.
There's Judge. Where's Ron Popeil? Oh, God.
Oh, man.
You guys are brutal, man.
Yep, this is a tough room.
You guys are brutal.
Oh man. All right, fellas. Well, I hope you all voted because you can only vote for one person. So I guess we got 100% of the votes to Greg Meyer. We got 190 votes, and they all went to Greg Meyer. So no. On a serious note, everybody, if you're out there imaging and you're so inclined, feel free. If you're watching, to throw it on astroweb.com, go to the link. It opens up on Mondays.
It opens up the entries open up every Saturday. So
Saturday. I don't even know anymore.
It's going to be opened up again.
So Saturday. And put your things in, and then the voting starts Monday, right?
Yes, it does.
Yep. So
actually, no, it starts Wednesday.
I don't even know when that. Ever since I let Eric run away with it, I don't know when it starts. I have no idea.
Entry period is from Saturday until Tuesday. Is from Saturday morning until Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. And then so you have plenty of time to enter in your photos, and it doesn't matter if it's a recent photo, a past photo, as long as it's your photo, something you've worked on with your own equipment, nothing from a remote imaging site or a service or anything like that. So that's all we ask as far as the honesty.
It could be a collaboration between two members.
Yeah,
it could be
absolutely.
It's fine. So I mean, just as long as you put the time and you put the effort in there, and even if it's a teamwork thing, I really want to put together that whole,
sorry.
The whole maybe collaboration where everybody takes pictures of the same thing this spring, spring and summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we put all of it together, like 300 hours worth of data, and we put it all together.
That would be nice.
And Eric's going to process it.
Yeah. So congrats.
Well, that is a nice pick, though. That's a nice pick.
Picture of M78.
That's a really interesting framing too. I like the framing of it.
Yeah, so that is a really, really good picture of M78. So
yep.
Congratulations.
I'm curious where he took that, because he has a tendency to go to a lot of dark sky sites.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Hey, it's all good.
As long as it's your data.
No, I mean,
it's your gear. Hey, all good. Because my M78 hasn't come close to this, but we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, we every time that I open them up on Saturdays at 8, and it runs until, as far as entry period, until 7 a.m. Eastern that Tuesday morning, prior to the voting, and then on Wednesdays I open up the poll at 8 o'clock. So it should be, I think I've got everything set for this one coming up. Oh, I just realized that it's my boy's birthday, March 29th. So
there you go.
My eldest, Joshua, it's his birthday on the 29th, next Friday. So, but yeah, let's see if we can get more than just, one entry this time, guys. Just saying. If we only get one, we only get one.
Been like feast or famine. We either have 7 or 1. It's
Yeah, I know. So yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm ready to open up another bottle of wine, and
it is Friday.
It is Friday, and I'm off on Saturday, which I'm never off on Saturday, so I can sleep late. It's great. So. I'm watching it. I'm watching it on NHL.com. I'm watching it. Holy crap!
5 to 5.
I know. I see it. Dude, it's crazy. Anyway.
It's nuts.
All right. Eric, final thoughts?
No.
All right, good. No, you said no. You're done. No, you said no. You finished.
I said no.
You said no.
I don't need to take this. I'm out of here.
All right, Dave. Final thoughts?
Well, I was going to say thanks, Eric, for all that great confirmation information.
I'm a human being. God damn it!
Good Lord.
But yeah, Eric, thanks for the collimation info.
Yep.
It was pretty informative and helpful. And to anybody who thinks Pluto's still a planet, I hate to break it to you, it's not.
Nobody cares. It's over.
Yeah.
18 years ago, it's over.
He still makes his best friend.
Pluto's still a dog, and he's still in Disney World if you really want to go see.
That's it.
Can we go to Disney World and go up to Pluto and say he's been demoted? Yeah. All right. Cool. So everybody have a great weekend. Have a great night. It's going to be good because I'm going to be sleeping till what? I wake up tomorrow. I'm going to get all caught up on that sleep because I'm tired. And hopefully I get some imaging done. I haven't done any imaging in like 8 months. I've done 0. Hopefully now that, WBPP is my friend again, and as well as Blur Exterminator, get rid of the lovely fake star trails that happen with my telephone wires. I think we're done with that. So I'm just waiting for it to get warm. I don't want to have to go out in the cold yet. And then because I don't know what I'm up against, because I haven't put anything on that mount that's mine in like 9 months. I've tested other people's scopes and it still works fine, but you know how it is when you don't touch things for a while, things go wrong. So I'm hoping that everything is going to be fine. I'm sure everything will be fine. I definitely need to retweak my polar alignment probably. Um, but
Yeah, I think I need to retweak mine.
Yep.
My guiding last night was not great. I'm
Yep.
thinking my polar line was a little out of whack.
Yep, and it happens. But so it's 9:38. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and don't forget on April 3rd we start at 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights. So we're not up all night, which is nice. So that's good. But all right, everybody, have a great night. Take care. Enjoy your weekend, and remember, as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you on Wednesday night. Take care, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Later.
Peace.
Deuce. It's 9 times.